Now some of you guys have been yelling at me about not filming working on the RX-7. The RX-7 is a personal project of mine that I've just been working on. It's a car I've always wanted, so I haven't been filming everything on it. And I've been working on it for the past week, and you guys want the RX-7 videos, or a handful of you guys do. So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be doing some RX-7 stuff. So over the past week, I've gotten a lot of stuff done on this car. I've gotten new, what are they? Full function engineering billet engine mounts in the RX-7 because the stock ones were just shot. We also got in the JDM Momo steering wheel. I've got a whole bunch of little stuff done in the engine bay. Also, I accidentally destroyed both of the intake manifolds on the car, so we have a solution for that. We're gonna be swapping to the excessive lower intake manifold, which will allow us to run 2 more injectors. So we're gonna have 4 ID1700s, 2 ID1300s. 1300s will be our primary, 1700s will be our secondary. So we're gonna be just shy of about 10,000 cc's fuel injector in this car. So this thing's gonna have literally all of the fuel that it needs. I've also got the, what brand was it? I got them from Turbo Source, a Haltech 1A ignition coil pack harness bracket, and the harness I got from Rywire, which is out for delivery today, which will pretty much wrap up the last of the wiring in this car. Just to kind of show you guys, I literally just chooched the intake manifold. I was picking up the end, it was my fault, 100% my fault. I was picking up the engine and I was doing it off of the intake manifold. I really shouldn't have been doing it that way, and I completely destroyed that lower cast manifold. But like I said, I'm using it as an excuse or an option to upgrade this to the excessive one, so that way we can run 4 fuel injectors. The harness is already pinned out for it. The fuel rail already has provisions for it, so we're just gonna run 2 more injectors. We should be running 2 more anyways, so it's not a big problem. I ordered this beautiful Momo steering wheel from Japan for this thing. This one is an option in Japan for the RX-7s. We did not get this here in the United States. We got one that looked like a droid from Star Wars with a big airbag on it. So super hyped with that. This car now has no airbags, as you know, most older cars don't, but you know, that's all right. They're gonna be a little bit difficult to see, but we also have the billet full function engineering engine mounts in this car. It needed it. The engine mounts were 30 years old in this thing before, and the whole engine just shook a ton. So we got new engine mounts in here now. Now, if you're like me and you're cheap and you don't like buying people's overpriced kits when you can avoid it, like me, we're gonna be building an an oil cooler kit for the RX-7. So this is, I have 2 Setrab 25 core intercooler. Why do I keep calling these intercoolers? Oil coolers. I found a couple companies who sell these kits, and they're expensive. For 2 Setrab 25 row with all the AN line and everything like that, the fittings, they were offering them for around $1,300 to $1,400 before tax and shipping, which is absolutely absurd. Now, here's the funny part, is they post all the parts links, or they post the entire parts lists for what come in these kits. So I just ordered all those separate parts from their kits independently, and I think I bought all this oil cooler stuff for maybe 700 bucks. That's for 2 25 row cores, 20 feet of dash 10 AN line, all the fittings, all the provisions, the Mocal thermostatic switch, all that stuff. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So let me start mocking up how I'm gonna build these oil cooler brackets. Yes, I mean, I could just mount it right there.
That's just the little rubber mounting shit?
Yeah, that'll go right here.
Yeah.
It's so fucking close.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so fucking close.
Took me a little while to figure out how I want to mount these and how to mount them in a way where it doesn't obstruct anything and everything is kind of free flowing, but I think I've got it. So I made kind of like a U bracket right here, as you guys can see. So it bolts up to the oil cooler down here, then bolts up to the actual car here. On the other side, I trimmed down a stock bracket to fit the oil cooler, and it is literally perfect. This lines up with the bumper. It's angled slightly so that way air can flow through it. We're gonna do one more bracket from this lower tab here up to that guy. I just cut the metal for this, but I don't wanna We have to go to the shop so I can weld it up and everything like that, but I'm pretty happy with this. We do need to trim off that stud and then a little triangle up there just to be able to get that fitting on there. But once the bumper's on, dude, it lines up so perfect. So this side I've already gone through and kind of trimmed down the stock bracket to get it to fit a little bit. And once I get once I get all the brackets made up, I'll show you guys. But for that bracket that I'm making for the other side right now, the third bracket, it's gonna go from the bottom here up to the stock 10 and just act as a third mount. Ideally, 3 points of contact is what you want, because even if you just have 2, it's still gonna allow the oil cooler to move around a little bit. Once you add a third, it kind of just cements the mounting location where it's at. But dude, I'm pretty happy with it so far. We got both of our oil coolers kind of mocked up there. So I've got all the brackets made up. I need to run over to the shop to go weld 2 of the brackets because they're at weird angles and you can't bend them, so you gotta weld them. So dude, I'm like super pumped with this. Like I said, they make kits for these, but for the specifically Setrab 24 row or 25 row coolers, you're looking at like $1,400. I got all this for like 600 bucks. Okay, so less than half the cost, because I ain't paying damn near $1,500 for a fucking oil cooler setup. That's just stupid. So with the bumper on, dude, it's perfect. You come down here in this little duct there, you got one oil cooler that of course it's not gonna pick up because it's super dark. And then the other one, dude, they line up damn near perfect. Let me get the bumper off and I'll show you because I gotta grab those brackets anyways. Dude, check that out. So these are the brackets that I gotta cut and weld. There's still a little bit of fab left I gotta do. I gotta clean them up a lot, but dude, so we have this one U bracket that I made here. We cut and are reusing the stock brackets that go on the sides, and it's pretty freaking symmetrical, I would say. That one on the driver's side is probably a little more angled than I'd like it to be, but I feel like I can fix that here in a little bit. But sick. Let me pop off these 2 brackets real quick. Let's run over to the shop, weld those up. When we get back, we'll take them all off, we'll paint them all, and then get them back on and permanently installed. Sick, dude. Oh, I also got the drive belt in. I am running AC-less for right now. I have all the stuff to put AC back on. I'm gonna stress it right this second, so for now I've got a belt that works. So let me pull these off. Let me let the WRX cool down. Let's go weld up some brackets. All right, I got all of my rough cut brackets here. So now that I'm at the shop, I have all my metalworking stuff here. So I just have all the rough brackets. We'll turn them into some nice looking brackets. Oh, brackets are welded and powder coated. Came out pretty good. My welds aren't the prettiest on there, but you know what? I didn't clean anything and I just kind of welded them together because they're just there for support. They're nothing structural. So now that these guys are done, let's go back to the house. We'll get these brackets on our oil cooler, get the oil coolers mounted up permanently, and then we can start making all the AN lines for it. So the brackets really took the majority of the day, but building these brackets saved me 700 bucks. So no complaints there. Just like that, we magically teleport back in moment of truth. Do they fit? They do. That's beautiful right there. Okay, so the bracket should just go on right here. Now with 3 points of contact, this thing should be freaking minty, dude. Like absolutely minty. This oil cooler should not move except for the isolators allowing it to. Check this one. Also fucking minty. I am pretty freaking proud of all this. You ever build something that you're just freaking proud of? That's me right now. Pretty proud of this. Solid as a fucking rock, dude. That is beautiful. That is $1,500, beautiful. So to give you guys the lowdown on how the oil coolers are mounted, because this has taken me all day to figure out how I wanted to mount these, we've got our U bracket up here, which has 2 mounting points to the oil cooler here, and then I went with 3 for up top, so that way there's no torsion that can be applied. We've got 1 from the stock mount that I cut down and moved up, because I don't have any need for the airbag sensors because we have the JDM steering wheel in there. I have no airbags. We have the other mount that we just went to the shop, welded, powder coated. So 3 points of contact, that's going to keep the oil cooler from moving at all. So, I mean, it can move a small amount, but not a lot. Same with over here. So we've got isolators on these mounts up here. I'll probably add 1 down here and 1 over here, but same thing. 3 points of contact, this thing ain't going anywhere. So now we need to connect the 2 oil coolers up. So we're gonna run a 90 from the, I guess, inside most fitting on each one of them to each other, so that way oil will go from the oil pump housing there into the oil thermostatic switch, which I don't have yet, into cooler 1, out of cooler 1, into cooler 2, out of cooler 2, into the oil filter housing, and that will be our oil cooler setup. We are going to be using Dash 10 line. This is Vibrant Performance line that I got from Ace Race. That's where I get all of my AN fittings and lines. I've got a baggie of different AN fittings that, for the most part, this is what I found in most kits. There's probably going to be some fittings that I'm going to have to order, but it's whatever. So I've already got to start it off here with a 90. This is, like I said, this is Dash 10 line. So we're going to start things off by connecting one oil cooler over to the other. Here. That's that. Will this fit? Because that's my concern is, because I don't want to be smashing any fittings. Dude, that's way freaking better. That's way better. I'm gonna go blow this out with compressed air. We'll get it installed. So that's about all I can do on the oil coolers for now, up until the thermostatic switch comes in, which I believe that comes in later this week. So that's where I'm gonna stop on these guys for now, but we do have the coolers connected. I will pre-fill both of these with 2050 when we do go to do the final install on this, but the thermostatic switch is gonna come off of this guy, sit somewhere in this general vicinity down here, and then it'll mount up like probably there, and then we'll have 1 line going back up to the oil filter housing, 1 line going off from the cooler, or from the oil pump to the cooler, and then 1 line each going to both of those guys, and that will control when oil does flow through them, which I believe is at 180 degrees. So because we can't keep going on those, we got other stuff we gotta do. I got some other small stuff in, like brake booster lines, delete plates for the rear oil return from where the old twin turbo was. I got in the really cool rye wire ignition harness. I'm still waiting on the bracket and all the coils and everything, but we have the harness that we can go ahead and run and start getting all that stuff kind of figured out. So let's jump up, knock out the couple things I have up here in the engine bay. We'll do brake booster lines, that delete plate down there, and then just keep going on the RX-7 stuff. I'm trying to like just get everything I can think of just kind of done. Plate, gotta get it down there. Already got a gasket on there, so this should hopefully not be too bad. A lot more little stuff is done. Airbag sensors removed. Windshield wiper on. I need to order the proper size or get the proper size for over there. Stuff, turbo drains, what, all that goodness. Now we're on to this. This is the Rywire harness for the coil packs that we're going to be running. So we're going to be using Haltech Ignition 1A coil packs. It comes with the relay, the fuse box, positive ground terminal. We're probably going to have to extend that out to be able to reach the battery in the back seat. This will connect into our main engine harness here. The rest of this will run up into the engine bay. We've got 4 coil packs for leading and trailing, 2 grounds. We're gonna have to feed all this through the firewall, which is up and behind here, kind of down there, which sucks. I kind of regret putting this wiper motor in. I might take that back out just to be able to make my life a little bit easier, but we'll see how hard I struggle with that thing. So let me try to feed this through here and start running it that way. Harness is ran through. It's kind of a pain. I ended up moving the ABS module. I still have it kind of loose. Moved the ABS module, moved this guy so that way I can get the grommet back in the firewall because it's so tucked down there. It's just impossible to get to. But integrated that harness in and zip tied it up with the other harness. It would have been nice if I could have gotten an option from Rywire just to get that harness integrated into that one so I didn't have to run 2 harnesses, but it's not a huge deal. So we've got all of our coil pack guys here. We've got the engine grounds or the rotor grounds grounded out to the engine right there. Now inside of the car, I had to order some tough cell wiring because the battery connection they give you is just entirely too short. So you have this Busman relay box here. You've got what plugs into the Rywire harness there, and then you've got these 2 guys that need to run to a power source. Our power source obviously is in the back seat now, so I can't, it's just not long enough. I don't have any tough cell wiring and I want to keep it all tough cell, so ordered some more. When that comes, I can get all that wired up. I'm waiting for like an IRP Haltech Elite mount. I have a couple outstanding orders with a company called what is it, IRP. They make really cool stuff, but they don't ship anything and they don't respond to emails. So I have a Haltech bracket that'll put the Haltech in the stock spot of where the old ECM went, along with some other cool stuff, but they don't respond to emails. They haven't shipped anything. I don't know why, but our harness is in. I'm waiting on the coil packs and the coil pack bracket to ship out from TurboSource. They have a lot of cool stuff too for RX7s. Now I need to fix something that is actually kind of annoying with the RX7, and it's kept me from keeping the battery connected on the cart, and it's just this one little plunger guy. So one issue with the RX7 right now is when you turn on power is applied to the car, the brake lights stay on. And that's because it's missing this little nylon plunger that goes on the brake pedal assembly to tell the car when to turn on the light, or when the lights should be on, when the pedal's depressed and when it's actually not. So we come up here, open that guy, stick my hand back in here and flip on power. Boop. You guys will see what I'm talking about. Immediately, my battery is dead. There we go, with power applied to the car. My brake lights are always on. So the problem with that, you're just gonna beep, I know. Problem with that is the brake pedal, there's a little plunger that goes up there, so let me get that on there real quick and see if this fixes our problem, which I'm hoping it does. So then when I push away, yep, okay, so. Okay, it kind of just kills power to the car now whenever I hit the brakes. Okay, well, good news is that seemed to work. I think it was just a low battery causing some weird electrical stuff. For some reason, like, I'd turn the key on and it would like take a solid second for it to like figure out that there's power applied. So I think the battery's just low, so I'm gonna let that charge up for a little bit. But hey, we got working brake lights now, which is probably one of the more important things to have. So I was gonna end the video after fixing the taillights, but then FedEx actually came in clutch and dropped off the thermostatic switch for the oil coolers. So I already went and made the bracket because we've made enough brackets in this video. I'll take it to the shop like I did with the other ones, clean it up there, but right now it's just the rough bracket to locate everything, hold everything in place, and obviously just the base design of the bracket. So from the oil pump housing, we've got this 90 coming off, going straight into this thermostatic switch here. We've got just a little bracket going to the bottom of the AC bracket there. We have one cooler line that's going to go to this cooler, another over to the other, and then obviously the last one will go up to the back where the filter housing is. So with all that in place, let's go ahead and start making all of this AN line. You'll probably see me running from the engine bay back there, engine bay back there, just making all the line, getting everything cut to length. I can't complete this because I need to order a couple of fittings. I had a feeling that I would, but they're not the ones that I thought I would. So everything that I saw, everyone's using these 120-degree fittings here. I don't like those. Do they clear? Yes. Are they too close to the pop-up? 100%. Do not feel comfortable running those. So what I'm gonna order, well, what I just ordered, I should say, this is not the correct one, this is similar, but this is an M20 this is M20 by 1 to -10 AN banjo fitting. I'm gonna get 2 of these on the oil coolers for the outermost portions that are closest to the pop-ups, because once these are on, you guys can see like, they'll sit incredibly slimmer down and way clear that pop-up. I just don't want to have a critical thing like an oil cooler line get taken out by a headlight under some ungodly circumstance. So all the lines are done with the exceptions that run, with the exception of the ones that run from the coolers to the thermostat. So we've got the thermostat here as I showed you guys before. We've got that one line going down from the oil filter housing to the back line there, oil pump to the other side, and then these 2 outlets will go to the oil coolers. I also need to get some Adele clamps ordered. This one's just too small, but it's just there to kind of hold the line in place for now. Because as you see, I want a little bit of extra slack on that line so that way it doesn't get like bundled up and it doesn't go past to the point of the crash beam, so that will keep everything kind of in place. Now, while I was digging through my spare parts bin because I thought I had some of those banjo fittings, but I only found that one, I did find a brand new Spal fan. I believe this is an 8-inch and it fits perfect behind this oil cooler here. So I think I'm going to integrate in one fan on the back side of one of the coolers and just run it to a switch. So on a hot day, if we're sitting static somewhere or if we're beating on the car hard, I can flip a switch, turn on a fan for one of the oil coolers, and that will also help pull air. Or if we're stuck like sitting in traffic, I can activate one of those just to help keep oil temps down even more. Everything about this car is fighting temperatures. But that is where I've got to stop on the RX-7 for now because I need to get some parts ordered for this thing to be able to finish the oil cooler setup. We're still waiting on some other parts to come in. I've got the downpipe temporarily put on. I need to get, I'm just waiting for parts to come in on this car. It's not like a Subaru where everyone has parts in stock. For the most part, a lot of the RX-7 stuff that I'm ordering is either back ordered, delayed, or very expensive, and I kind of got to save up to get it. So I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know if I'd still continue to call the RX-7 a mild build anymore. I think it's just a full-on, all-out build at this point, with the exception, nope, it's just a full-out RX-7 build at this point. Dual oil coolers, big single turbo, 6 injectors, standalone ECU. I think I'm kind of past the point of it just being mild bolt-on. But anyways, like I said, that's all I got for you guys on this one. When I get more RX-7 parts in, we will do more on the RX-7. In the meantime, I'm gonna jump back over to some of the stuff on the WRX because we got some stuff to do that car still, plus some stuff to go do with the car also. And I'll link all this oil cooler stuff down in the description below, so if you want to build this kit, you can save money also. But that's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, you know what to do. Go and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver sign, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already and you want to be one of these corners, no idea which one quite yet, but with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.